Obviously, we're walking into a week where, you've been talking about really encouraging Black men specifically to get out and vote. And I do want to talk to that. President Barack Obama, he was campaigning for you in Pittsburgh. He said, it makes me think you aren't just feeling the idea of having a woman as a president. You're coming up with other alternatives and other reasons for that. We have not seen the same kind of energy and turnout in all corners of our neighborhoods and community as we saw when I was running. Former Ohio State Senator Nina Turner, she came out on CNN and said, why are you, putting Black men up against the wall and pressuring them into something that possibly, they don't want to do if they want to vote for you or not. So my question to you is, do you think that what President Obama said was the right thing to say?
Let me tell you, I am very proud to have the support of President Obama, and that he is out traveling to talk with voters about what is at stake in this election. I'm very proud to have his support. What is also important is, one, to understand, like as I said, I intend to earn the vote of everyone, including Black men. Two, pay attention to everything that President Obama talked about, because he also talked about at length the danger of Donald Trump.
Man, why they keep interviewing? Like, they always got some kind of sassy Black man. Man,
why can't you just answer? What would have been so wrong with just saying?
But even outside the answer, like as Black man can't get, we can't get past. We can't. I know, but as Black man can get past the point that you got is always some kind of zesty or some kind of Black man. They're not really showing us. Get a real Black man going to interview her.
No, that's a fact.
You know what?
Crazy.
That's a good point, but. That 60 Minutes interview though, that's an
older Black man, and he already don't like. But that's an older Black man too. He's still kind of swaying towards. Ask somebody who's 35, 45. Yeah. No ass, no. Come on, that made me mad even seeing that right there, man. That's crazy.
You think she's trying to hit a different target market? You think with these shows?
It's not a true representation of it. I'm sorry, it's not a true representation of the Black men that I'm around. Or that I see every day.
I agree.
When I see stuff like that, and I'm not trying to talk down on anybody, but when I see stuff like that, I'm like, come on, man, that ain't us. For real. We strong out here. That's why I got mad at baby girl about talking about getting in front. Man, I'm a man. What is that?
Why do you got a Black man that want to be a Black woman ask you about what Black men think?
Facts.
Like, how will he know?
But either way,
he's still a Black man.
But and he still asked the question, and she still could have taken the opportunity to be honest if she didn't agree with how he presented it, or if she did. And considering the fact that she's trying to earn Black men's votes, I think that would have been an opportunity to try and earn it by saying, you know what? I think that Obama, I get fluffing it. So, okay, he was passionate and he misstated a couple of things. But that's not how I would have presented it. I think maybe she would have hooked a few people if she would have at least been direct in her response. But, well, did you hear what he said about Trump? Well, I'm so appreciative. Nope, you're still playing the game.
She's so busy trying to be real, she don't know how to be real.
Exactly.
So when she get asked a question like that, she gonna tap dance around it and just stand on what she's taught to stand on type shit. Like, none of this shit is real. You know
which to me says that you really are not trying to get the Black man's vote, because I think it's fair to say that they would appreciate you just shooting from the hip. Just talk direct. Yeah.
So
talk direct. Don't give me all this other stuff.
Karen, it's over. All right, like as a Black man and you being a new chick, we only gonna give you 2 times to lie to us. All right, not even 3. So once you lie in our face twice, everything else after that is she a liar, and we gonna take it with a grain of salt. Like the black man as a whole don't trust nothing that come out of her mouth.
Which is more the reason why I think she should have taken the opportunity to just be direct.
It don't matter, man. Cause it's just too late for her, bro. She done told too many lies. My grandma always tell me, the truth is simple, the lies complex. So when she start dancing around answers, it's not a simple answer. She lying. Get out of my face.
Well, okay, so I agree with that, but I have a question. Because I be watching Trump too. Do you think he does the same thing?
If you watch
around questions.
So listen, I watched Trump on what's the white dude show? Flagrant. Andrew Schultz. I watched him on Andrew Schultz show, right? So this how honest Trump was. One time they asked him a question about who they think shot him, and he was trying to dance around the question. And then they asked him about it. He was like, "Man, I'm trying to dance around the question. Can y'all get with me?" Like he was honest about lying right there in the moment. Well, and a lot of dudes relate to that. Like, you caught me, but I'm still trying to dance around this. And so, like, we can relate to somebody who trying to lie, and then he tell you, like, I'm trying to lie so I can get around. We'll relate with that more than you blatantly study lying to us.
The one thing that you can't criticize, the one thing that you can't criticize Trump or JD Vance about is this whole campaign they've been pulling up to the ops. They didn't pull it up to CNN. They didn't pull it up to ABC. They didn't pull it up to all the National Association of Black Journalists before Kamala Harris even thought about pulling up. And regardless of whether you like their answers or you agree with them, you can't disagree with the fact that they willing to face unscripted questions and they're going to just deal with however they're going to deal with it. And the thing that men like is we just like somebody to just be 100, just be real. Like, just be authentically you. Even if we don't agree with you, all right, so you know what? We don't agree on this, but we going to get this money together. Well, we don't necessarily align on this, but we know we got to close off our borders because they fucking up both of what we got going on at the same time. I don't have to agree 100% with everything that you say because I don't agree 100% with anything that anybody says. But I need to know that you're not a fucking chameleon.
And that's why that man keeps.
I don't like pandering. I just want to know the real. That's it. Just keep it 100 so I can make an informed decision of whether or not this is going to be best for me, or we can align on this, or we need to just completely part and go our separate ways, but I can still respect you. I don't respect her at all. I know she a panderer. I know she, you know what I'm saying? I know that she capping. Let's be real. Just a few months ago, she was unwilling to even acknowledge or answer the question about whether she was Black in the first place. Now she's talking about how she's trying to earn Black men's votes. When they asked her a question a little while ago, because I got the memory of an elephant about if she would do anything specifically for Black people, she specifically dodged the question and said no. So now all of a sudden she's earning our vote because she realized that she's losing in the polls. So that just tells me that you never had an economic agenda in the first place and you just trying to pivot so that you can maintain power. That's not authentic to me. And for people to still be able to justify that they voting for her based off of identity politics and not based off of authenticity at the very least is weird to me personally. It's just weird to me. I can't rock with it.
I was just going to say a couple of weeks ago, there was something that JD Vance had said. I can't remember what it was, but Trump was doing an interview and they asked him about it. Like, JD Vance said this, and he said something to the effect of, I'm not sure about the context that he was like talking, but like, that's not my stance. This is my stance. And I'm paraphrasing, but to your point, I have heard him address the conflictive things that Vance has said. And then I've also heard Vance address some of the stuff that Trump has said. I've heard RFK address some of the stuff that Trump is like, I've heard everybody minus Kamala, like have a different view from somebody who's technically on their team. Yeah. So, and I'm not saying, listen, Trump says stuff that's all over the place sometimes, in my opinion, too. So I'm not saying that everything Trump says I understand or agree with per se. But one thing that I do trust is that he's going to show up as him. He's not going to try to filter because he's afraid that you might hear his real thought. In fact, I think that's sometimes what has gotten him in trouble is his real thought comes out.
No. They think that that's got him in trouble. What is done?
The perception of trouble in terms
it's endeared him to us, because one thing that I think that's missing in this election outside of him and JD Vance and prior to him was masculinity. We haven't seen that. All we've been seeing is pandering for a long fucking time. And we tired of these sassy motherfuckers keep on jumping up on the screen. dog, when I seen Lori Lightfoot get elected and now she in the LGBTQ Hall of Fame, I said, what the fuck is happening, bro? That's insane. That is absolutely insane. When I look at Brandon Johnson's mohawk, it angers me. It absolutely angers me.
Again, y'all not gonna do my brother up here like that, but carry on.
Yes, I am. He's the worst.
There's nothing wrong with him having. That's him being authentic. What's wrong with that? Y'all have
It's
so much to complain about everything. He can't have
like that.
Who is the guy? Let me Google him.
Brandon. He's
Brandon
the mayor
Johnson.
of Baltimore.
Yeah, I'm looking.
No, we're not even talking about. I'm not even talking about him. I said Brandon Johnson.
Oh, my bad.
Look
I
at you.
apologize.
This
I
the mayor
heard
of
Brandon and
Chicago?
Afro because they talk about him.
I said Brandon Johnson in Chicago, Mayor of Mohawk.
Oh, you did? My bad. I wasn't paying attention.
Pull him up. Pull him up anyway.
Who? The mayor of B-More?
Mayor of Chicago.
Him?
He got a
Yeah,
little
he wears a mohawk and he spent $10,000.
What's wrong with him having a mohawk though?
Yeah.
Because you a grown fucking man.
You just mad because you can't grow a mohawk.
I can get me a mohawk. I could get me a mohawk. Let me tell you something. Money fixes a mohawk.
Put some money on it. Put some money. No, grow it naturally.
The lace
Don't go get a
wig.
BBL.
Yeah,
Don't go get a
me and
BBL with no
2K
hair.
said that we was gonna show up on tour with some hair. So
Don't
Do
go
that
don't
to
go
the
pay
Detroit
him no hair.
one.
I want you to try to grow that shit naturally.
That nigga look like a sour cream crib, man. Get that nigga out of here.
But the fact of the matter is, you know, they asked her, even on The View, they asked her how would her policies be any different than Biden's policies, and she said, "Listen, I've been in the room for the majority of the decisions that's been made that's important to the American people, and I can't really tell you how I would be any different than Biden." So if that be the case, then how can we expect her to be any different than what we've experienced over the last 3.5 years?
No, I think you're right. I did have a question though. Maybe Jamisha can answer this because a lot of times you hear people saying, well, she had 4 years to do such and such. She was already in the White House, in the administration. Why didn't she implement any of these policies or at least try? And then you will get hit with, well, she's just the vice president. My question is, what exactly is the vice president? And please, I only know what I know. And all I know is that I know nothing. So I want to absorb the right information. I want to absorb the right information, right? It's, no, it is. Okay, it's okay. No, but I really would like to know because she's coming up with all of these things now. She was so quiet during her run with the administration. What is the vice president able to do when it comes to certain policies that can positively affect certain communities? That's my question to you, Jamisha. What can the vice president actually do as to why we're questioning now why she's doing it now and she couldn't do it then?
I really appreciate you, Jazz, but I would like for other people to look up and research what a vice president does.
Oh no, she asked you specifically.
Right, but I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not here to, and again, I respect her, but I'm not here to explain what presidents and vice presidents and civics is.
Respectfully, Alderwoman, because you're the only person that's been elected to office on this panel.
What does that have to do with anything?
You didn't even let me finish what I was about to say. I'm prefacing what my question is before I
answer. Can we get a moment of silence? I just agree.
Alderwoman. Okay, so let me ask you a question. Is it that you don't know? Or is it that you're choosing not to
know what a president does, what a vice president does, what the administration does, how many cabinets there are, each one of them.
Okay, so why you can't help our sister Jazz over here?
And again, it's nothing against Jazz because I respect her and I don't have no problems with her, but I'm not going to sit here and give out breath on something that everybody should be able to know. And
no. Let me come to my.
You're right.
No, Jazz, no, Jazz, no, Jazz, no, because you humbled yourself to say I don't know and I want to be educated. And so I would like to have a discussion with somebody that's the most educated on this on the panel to help me to understand. I had to applaud you and I shut the fuck. I said, you know what? Jamisha is about to really give us some game. Now, if you talk about if 2K tell her that she all on all fours, then she gonna be She was all over the panel.
And she
when somebody asks her an intelligent question, you're telling me you won't answer, Jazz? Yo, sister.
I made it very clear that I feel like this information is something that we should be looking up. We should understand what the president, and vice president is supposed to do.
Older woman.
Get up here and get back and forth, we should know the basics.
You know the woman here.
She's the vice president, so if something happens to the president, she would be the next one to come.
Yeah.
She's the president of
That's
the
what
Senate.
I do know that part.
And again, I'm not talking to you, Jazz, because I respect you. I appreciate the question. And I know that you're very, very intelligent and you have the ability to I know you do. So I'm really being a smart ass with Anton. Their advice.
I don't know either. I'm learning myself.
No, you're not. No, you're not. You no, you're not.
Ma'am, can you please educate me and Jazz? Me and Jazz,
you know what the president does.
I know what the president does. Vice president, ditto. Ever since Kamala got into office, but can you please educate? Could you please educate me and Jazz?
When Biden was vice president,
Miss Alderwoman,
please educate me and Jazz Noel of what the responsibilities of Kamala Harris has been over the last 3.5 years, please.
I'm not going to do that on this panel.
Oh my God.
You're not going to do that, or you won't know that.
I know.
Somebody else explain it.
Go and look. Oh, like I'm not about to sit up here and explain it because it defeats the purpose. It defeats the purpose. How can we actively engage on any of these topics? And again, Jazz, I'm not coming at you. If we don't know Civics 101, why do I have to be the teacher because I've been elected?
Well, first of all, because a lot of us, because Jazz, I agree with Anton on this one because she genuinely was asking, and if you know the answer, to just say I'm not going to give it to you because you should know it, that's pretty off-putting. I'm sure there's stuff that Jazz knows that you don't know that she could technically say you should know, but that was her area of interest. I learned about the role of the president probably back in middle school or high school when I really didn't care about it. I didn't see the importance of it. So I didn't even see the importance of any of this till recently. Jazz, I had to look up that very thing about a month or two ago. I really had to understand, wait, hold up. What could Kamala have done? I'm sorry, I'm not trying to mispronounce it. I just can't remember. What could she have done in her position? What was she expected to have done in her position? And what is the vice president? So, like, what can they do? And I had to look it up. So,
but isn't it a depth?
Listen.
Oh, Jazz.
No. So wait. Because we spending a lot of time on nothing. So you're not gonna answer her question?
Yes and no.
It's okay. If somebody else can,
okay. So let me kind of give you the. I'll help you out.
I can tell you what.
No. Listen. We're not gonna look up nothing. We ain't got to do any of that.
Told me.
We could just get straight to it. So some of the main. Okay, so it's two different ways that the vice president operates. The first way is her official power, and the second way is her kind of informal power, right? The first way, when you're talking about her official power, is she's the president of the Senate, right? So whenever you have a deadlock, especially when they're voting on legislation, she's a tie-breaking vote. So for Kamala Harris in particular, when we talked about the inflation and the infrastructure deal and all of that stuff, and when they were deadlocked inside of our legislative branches, she was the tie-breaking vote that then determined what happened to push legislation through or to pull it back that ultimately landed on Biden's desk. Okay, that's the number one thing. The number two thing, if you go back to like Pence, for example, and remember when they were having a lot of back and forth on the 2020 election, and they were trying to figure out, or they were battling about whether or not the election was stolen or not. The vice president is the one that actually certifies the votes when it comes to who wins the elections. So one of the reasons why it was so much back and forth between the president and or the incumbent and whether or not Trump lost or not is because Mike Pence was the one that actually certified the vote. So those are some of the formal powers of the vice president of the United States of America. Informally, though, they then basically serve as a figurehead and their delegated responsibility from the president of the United States of America because he can't be in all places at one time. So, for example, That's why they say she was the border czar, because one of the first things that Biden tasked her with was to solve for the issues that was happening at the border, because Biden himself said that when he won president, he would never, ever, ever build another inch of border wall. And then the border started to be open. So he anointed her as the border czar to solve for the fundamental problems as to why the border, or why migrants was coming into the border as a result of it, which is why people hang that on her head and say you never solved for the problems and you never got the resolution to it, because officially, unofficially, she was the border czar. And then when you see her say things like when she was on The View and she said, listen, I was in the room for every single decision that was made that was important to the United States of America, including the infrastructure bill, including the tax act, including all of this other stuff, right? Then that's when they say, okay, well, if you were in the room and you were the one that was helping to make the decisions, and you were officially and unofficially the tie-breaking vote for a lot of the things that was pushed through in legislation, that means that you then became responsible for whether or not it was or it wasn't.
Right.
And those are the official and unofficial duties of the Vice President of the United States of America, okay?